Coming up on Spartan Sports Report, Tom Izzo looked to tie Bob Knight for the most Big Ten wins. The gymnastics team came back into Jenison Fieldhouse for the first time since mid-January, and the hockey team traveled to the Motor City for a chance to take home the Iron D Trophy for back-to-back seasons.
Hello and welcome back to the campus of Michigan State University for this week's episode of the Spartan Sports Report. I'm Marin Klein.
And I'm Ethan Hunter. Marin, we had a good weekend of Spartan sports. A trophy was hoisted right down the road on I-96 a couple nights ago.
Yeah, Ethan, Little Caesars Arena was packed this weekend, but so was the Breslin Center.
Yeah, it was, and that's where we'll start on Saturday. The men's basketball team attempted to get back to their winning ways against Oregon after UCLA handed the Spartans their second loss in a row last week. The Ducks traveled to East Lansing for the first time as a Big Ten opponent, and MSU struggled to start off the game, while Oregon proved ready for the challenge. Jackson Shellstad dominated the scoring column in the first half, leading the Ducks with 18 points into a 14-point lead headed into halftime. But it was Jace Richardson that would start a fire for Michigan State at the start of the second half with this old-fashioned three-point play. And Jackson Kohler also got his fifth double-double on the year with 14 points and 12 boards. The Izzone was loving it, and Richardson continued to pour it on. Give that guy a map on the crossover, and look at this acrobatic finish. His dad loved that one, and he would finish with 29. Not only did Coach Izzo's squad get back on track, but Izzo would reach a milestone tying the legendary Indiana coach Bobby Knight for the most wins by a coach in the Big Ten with 353. After the huge win, Richardson had this to say.
And having that national championship team there, it's a whole bunch of people I grew up around. So just to see all those guys back is really amazing. Coach tying the record, I feel like that was the biggest thing. And I'm so proud of him. Just everything he's done for this program, everything he's done for this team. So I'm really proud of Coach. And then just this team, we really fought. We were down 15. We knew the second half we needed to come out with some energy, come out with a punch, and we did that.
Richardson's 29 points approached the record for points in a game by an MSU freshman, currently held by Miles Bridges, who scored 33 in 2017. Michigan State will be back in the Breslin tonight to take on the Indiana Hoosiers at 9 p.m.
Big win on the court, but let's head over to the ice. After splitting its series against number 11 Ohio State, the number 2 Michigan State hockey team returned to Munn Ice Arena to take on its in-state nemesis, number 13 Michigan. The Spartans and Wolverines taking on each other for the second time this season. The first series happened just a few weeks ago in January, ended in a split, and it would all start with the special teams. Howard over to Dorwart would fire that one in to get the Spartans on the board first. It would be his 9th goal of the season, and he has had a point in every series he has played in for the Spartans this year. But less than 3 minutes later, the Wolverines tying it right back up at 1-1. That would be TJ Hughes for the Wolverines, but after this, it was a deadlock. Freshman Cameron Corpy, in his first appearance against the Spartans, had 38 saves, 20 just in the second period alone, and he would lock down. But speaking of locking down, after that first power play goal from Hughes, the Spartans on 5 penalty kills only allowed 3 shots on goal. Such impressive defensive play from the Spartans, but with 60 seconds left in the game, Ethan Edwards would find Garrett Shifsky in the slot to get the tip in and put the Wolverines on top. Shifsky scored the overtime winner in the Wolverines' win against the Spartans earlier in January, and he would be the hero once again as Michigan shattered MSU's unbeaten streak at home, which dated back to October. Now, taking over to night 2, the Spartans and Wolverines then took a short trip down to Detroit for the 9th annual Duel in the D game at Little Caesars Arena. And to put the Spartans on board first, once again, special teams. And this time, freshman Shane Van Sage would score in the slot off the shot from Isaac Howard. But then in the second period, Tyler Duke would find the equalizer. But this time, Michigan State was able to find their response. Less than 2 minutes later, Gavin O'Connell would score for the Spartans, and they just would not slow down from there. The fourth line would then come onto the ice. Shane Van Sage heading it off Mikey D'Angelo. He gets his stick in there and gets the puck behind Corpy to make it a 3-1 game heading into the third. Now to start the third, a delayed penalty called in the Wolverines, an extra man on, and the Spartans would find the back of the net once again. The puck from Carson Dorr bouncing off Joey Larson, and then Tiernan Shouty entering into the zone all on his own. He'll score for the Spartans. Trey Augustine getting his 3rd assist of the season on that one. And to finish it out, how about 22 goals for number 22, Isaac Howard, with the power play goal. And the Iron D trophy would stay in East Lansing for the 2nd consecutive year as MSU took down Michigan 6-1. The team split the 4 games of the season, and the Spartans outscored their rivals 13-7 overall in the regular season series. MSU is now 22-5-3 on the season and are 5 points ahead of number 3 Minnesota with 43 points in the Big Ten standings with 4 games remaining. The team will take a break this weekend, but will be back in action on February 21st to host Penn State for their final home series.
Yeah, season wrapping up on the ice, but Spartans softball just launched their 2025 season with a trip to Tucson, Arizona for the Candrea Classic for 5 games in 3 days. It didn't start easy as their first 2 opponents, Arizona and Alabama, are both ranked in the top 16. And after going 0-3 in those games, they faced off against Western Michigan. They lost 8-0 in Game 1 to the Broncos, but the Green and White bounced back with a 9-1 win in Game 2. Shining in their first victory of the year was freshman 2-way player J.C. Schuler, as she pitched 6 1/3 innings, only allowing 1 run for her first collegiate victory. Britt Bashirs and transfer Hannah Greer both knocked their first 2 home runs in the early season. MSU will have another 5 games next week as they prepare for the Red and Black Showcase in Athens, Georgia.
After falling by just a 1/10 of a point to number 6 UCLA, number 5 MSU women's gymnastics headed back to Jennison Fieldhouse to host the undefeated number 16 Minnesota Golden Gophers. MSU opened the meet with another strong vault rotation to take the lead over Minnesota. Here's Sage Kellerman, also Gabby Steven. They would tie the vault title with matching scores of 9-9. But how about Nikki Smith? She would take home the all-around title with a season high of a 39.575. Smith putting up a bar score of 9.925 to tie Sage Kellerman, allowing MSU to remain in control at the halfway point. Now moving over to beam, see here Steven sticking the dismount on her beam, securing a 9-9. Spartans coming back from a tough beam performance at UCLA, and then Skyla Schulte to finish out the night, putting up the highest score for the Spartans with a 9.925 during floor rotation. MSU coming on top with a 197.475 to 196.8 win over the Golden Gophers, handing Minnesota its first loss of the season. MSU dropped to number 6 in the national polls, and now they will head on the roads to face off against number 23 Nebraska on Saturday.
Coming off a dominant win against Clarion, Michigan State Wrestling looked to pick up their first Big Ten win against Northwestern. The Spartans got started with redshirt sophomore Cesar Garza securing bonus points with a major decision, and redshirt freshman Max Venadia scored a tech fall. The Wildcats went on to defeat the Spartans, though, 27-12. On Sunday, they hit the mat again in Wisconsin, and Sparty trailed 12-0 from the jump until Clayton Jones III won his 149-pound match, catching the Badger in a cow catcher, clinching the first bonus points of the year for Jones. Michigan State would drop this one as well, 25-12. The Spartans have 2 upcoming Big Ten matches against ranked opponents, Friday against number 12 Rutgers and Sunday against number 19 Michigan.
MSU men's tennis team galloped over to Idaho to face the Broncos of Boise State last Monday. After dropping 6 spots in the ITA team rankings, the Spartans were eager to prove themselves behind Big Ten Freshman of the Week Matthew Forbes. Even with a few notable wins in doubles, Michigan State would narrowly lose 4-3 against Boise State. On the 23rd, they will travel to Cornell University to take on the Big Red Bears.
Women's basketball packed the Breslin Center with a season-high attendance of over 11,000 fans as they hosted rival Michigan this past Sunday. Spartans look to sweep the season series after beating Michigan back in January. MSU started off hot with 2 threes in the first quarter by graduate guard Jaden Simmons and junior guard Emma Shoemate. They took an early 7-point lead, which would be their highest of the game, and junior forward Grace Van Sluten recorded her 4th double-double of the season, dropping 15 points and 12 rebounds. But the Wolverines would take the lead at halftime. Michigan would carry that momentum through the end as freshman guard Silas Swords scored a team high of 19 points to secure the 71-61 win for the Wolverines. The Spartans dropped to 18-5 overall and 8-4 in league play. Freilich squad will look to bounce back as they take on the Wisconsin Badgers at home tomorrow.
Men's and women's track and field headed to Ann Arbor last Saturday for the Michigan Invitational. In the women's weight throw, senior Elle Adrian beat her own personal best with a throw of 22.35 meters to take gold, breaking a school record held by former All-American Beth Roll. Sophomore Jessica Stieb also broke a school record in shot put with her first throw of 16.87 meters, earning her a second place finish. Michigan State track and field will be shipping off to a trio of different meets this weekend.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Spartan Sports Report.
For more content, check out the Spartan Newsroom website and all of our social medias below. I'm Maren Klein.
And I'm Ethan Hunter. We'll catch you next week.